Hi guys, Sandy from the Padel School here. In this video today, we're going to talk about how to finish an easy ball. Now this might sound obvious, but I see players all the time struggling with this. They've worked hard in the point, they've got themselves an easy ball at net, and then they end up either making a mistake or letting their opponents back in the rally. So in this video, we're going to discuss where you should be aiming, what you should be trying to do, and also what to look for on that next ball. If you want to improve your paddle and you find these type of videos useful, please click subscribe. It shows me that you're enjoying the content, but also it helps show to more players so that they can also get tips and advice for their paddle. So to begin with, we'll define what an easy ball is. So that's a ball that I think bounces inside that second post, so somewhere at the net here. The ball goes higher so that you can contact above net height, meaning you can hit down on that ball, and it comes to you from a number of ways. It might come off the net cord, they hit a shot, hits the net and it bounces over easily. You might have hit a really good setup shot and they're defending and you get an easy ball from that, or you might hit a really good kind of chiquita down to their feet, they're picking that ball up and you can come forward and play an easier shot like this. So normally if you've got a shot at the front of the court like this that you can be attacking, normally your opponents are at the back of the court. Because they see you come forward, they should be moving back to defend, and sometimes they can get caught in no man's land or they're out of position, which is even better for you. Now, if they're in no man's land or if at the back of the court, the best place you can hit this to start with is down the center of the court, right down that middle line, and that's something that both players then have to move diagonally back towards the middle to try and retrieve that ball. Now that's good for two reasons. First of all, it's an easier shot for you because you can be accurate down that middle, but also it opens up a big space in the court if they are to get that ball back. The second place to aim for is into the gaps. Now I know that might sound obvious, but if you have already hit one of these shots and the player is forced to the back and they leave a space in the corner, then you should go into that corner with the slice so that you can ideally get back glass and if possible double glass into that corner. You want to try and keep that ball low. From a technical point of view, you want to take the racket back above the height of the ball, so it's probably about shoulder level here, and you want to kind of come down horizontally but in a downward direction with your hand leading that ball. That will create the slice. You don't want to create your slice by chopping down on the ball. You want to go through that ball so you get a good mix of power and backspin on that ball so that the rebound at the other end will die and be very difficult for your opponents to get. In this situation, because the ball is softer, it probably means that your opponents have had time to get into their positions. So you can afford to be a little bit more aggressive on this shot. You want to swing with fast racket head speed coming through the ball, but you don't need to hit 2 inches from the glass. It's better that you hit an aggressive shot with plenty of margin for error, and then you have another ball that you can then finish on, rather than you trying to finish and making a mistake on that ball. And that's something that's really important, is that no matter where you hit this ball, always be ready for the next shot. You see it far too often that players are hitting an aggressive shot, they kind of, relax thinking they've already won the point, the opponents have got the ball back and suddenly they're not ready for it. So always be prepared to play an extra ball. One of the most common areas that we see for this shot are players going for a drop shot. Now, particularly from beginner to intermediate level, this is something that we see a lot in match play, that players get an easy ball and they try and trick their opponents and hit a drop shot, but really there are several reasons why this is a bad idea. First of all, if your opponent was in a bad position originally and they're against the glass and they've hit a soft floating ball to you, it probably means they've had time to get back into a good position. So they're no longer in that defensive position for your drop shot. The second thing is if you're contacting a drop shot above net height here, the ball has to go up before it goes down again, giving them more time to get to it. The third is they only need 3 or 4 big fast steps to get to that drop shot. It's not like a tennis court where they've got further to travel. Here they only need a few steps and they're on that ball. The fourth is that if you do a bad drop shot, not only are you giving them an easy ball, but you're also giving them an opportunity to take that net position and to force you to the back, which is something that you've probably worked hard to get to. The second most common error is players hitting far too hard from this position. It's not like tennis where you just need to hit past your opponents to hit a winner. Players are getting into this position, they're hitting really hard and fast, And all it means is the opponents are waiting for the ball to go off that back glass to try and play it then. Unless you hit loads of slice on that ball will probably bounce up and your opponents will be able to defend it. So you want to hit a good combination of slice and speed, but also you want to keep them at the back of the court just in case it isn't a winner, and therefore you can have an easier next ball. A good way to practice this is to just grab some balls and to throw the ball for yourself on this side of the net. So you're practicing hitting over the net, but also bringing it down on the other side. You want to really start with the racket back and try and get a good combination of speed and spin on this, but again, you don't need to hit too hard. So throw the ball up for yourself, come down the back, and just brush down the ball, and you can see that the spin generated off that back glass keeps it low after the glass, and then it rolls back into the net. So in this video we talked about what to do when you get an easy ball, whether it's a volley or if it bounces and comes above net height. In this video on this side we talk about how you can get into that position to hit a winner. So this will be a good one to watch after this.